Today we're going to do some shameless plugs, obviously, but we're going to talk a little bit about jet skis, more formally known as PWCs, personal watercrafts, and kind of the buying process, the options out there. And it kind of ties back to some of our existing product line and some new stuff coming out later this year. So obviously, the first thing you got to decide is, the use of the ski. Right, JP?
They all go fast.
They all go fast, yes. It should be stated that obviously they have like the Sea-Doo Sparks or whatever, the small size, the more like toy-sized fun stuff.
I'd say it gained a lot of popularity in the last couple of years there for sure.
A little better price point. If you're looking to get a little splashy, it's probably the best option. You've got basically three players in the industry. So you have Jet Ski, which is a Kawasaki brand. Mm-hmm. You've got Wave Runner, which is a Yamaha brand. And then, of course, you have Sea-Doo. Sea-Doo's won the most awards. I would say they're kind of the gold standard at this point.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Even though they got into it a little later.
Yep.
Another thing to consider with all these options is they have an impeller. What that means is, they're not they don't have a lot of draft. So in that sense, they can go in shallow water, but they do easily suck up debris, and that can ruin the impeller, can take out the engine, can overheat because it's not able to cool itself, all that fun stuff. So something to consider, if your use is in like a river that gets shallow in areas, might want to go with an outboard.
Be careful. Be careful.
Yeah. So as far as, the different types, so obviously we talked about brands. There's a ton of uses for them, right? So some people use them for the really, the ones that are really tippy and splashy and spin around, and that's Jason's, preference.
I like the stand-up style, the OG.
Yeah. You ride on your belly, and then you eventually get up and Yeah, those are good. I've actually been on one once. They are sketchy, but it is kind of fun. But in any case, your use. If you like, I was just telling Colton this, if you like to fish on horseback, then they do make fishing models of jet skis, which I'm sure are just a hoot.
I don't understand that.
I don't
at
either.
all.
For the price of a medium-sized bass boat, you can have a single-use small jet ski to fish out of.
You have to stay seated. I don't think any of them have a platform of any kind, do they?
Not enough to comfortably cast.
Yeah.
But in any case, you can see Jason and I's bias. not fans of that, but obviously it's more action adventure kind of fun stuff like that is what they're designed for. I will say they do make good, more affordable, let's say, towboats.
Yeah.
If you in Wisconsin, you have to have you have a driver, obviously, and then you have to have one person facing backwards, watching the whatever, the tuber or the skier or whoever's riding behind the watercraft. And I don't know what the rules are in other states, but I think most states allow some sort of jet ski to be able to tow if you have two people. Yeah. And that's actually, I would say, maybe not for like wakeboarding, but for tubing or skiing, it's a pretty good experience. I would recommend, these use like a thumb throttle. So it's more like, I guess kind of like similar to a motorcycle or a snowmobile. They use a thumb throttle, which all that to say, when you're towing someone, a thumb throttle is not ideal if you don't have one that allows you to set like a cruise. So there are models out there. I know Sea-Doo has a couple. Their GTX has it, where you can set, the speed you want to be at with your thumb, and then you can lock it in so you're not sitting there holding it the whole time. Doesn't sound like a big deal, but it's actually pretty inconvenient to have to regulate speed while towing someone. It's kind of tricky. So I'd recommend, finding something that has that cruise control functionality anyway. Obviously budget's a big one. So
Wide range of prices there. Wow.
honestly, it's all over the place. Yeah. I mean, I would say, your most affordable are going to be your small, like 1 and 2 seater sport models. So the best example would be the Sea-Doo Spark. Some of the stand up, which like Wave Runner makes a stand up, those are pretty affordable, but that's a single person unit. I mean, that is as true of a toy as it gets.
Yeah.
That is just a toy, which is, if that's what you're looking for, it's a great option. But those prices are going to be more affordable, and then you get up into the large ones that are more adequate for towing.
Your 3-seater supercharged.
GTX, yeah. Most of those have, 180 horsepower supercharged motors. They go really, really fast. But they're good for towing. They have the torque to tow, and the size to tow. They are going to run you about 2 to 3 times more expensive than something like a baseline Spark. So depending on if you want more than one of these, Spark is probably going to be a better option for you, which is a pretty popular jet ski to buy in pairs. Although I think it could be kind of dangerous, honestly, because you buy them in pairs, and now you have 2 little missiles running around. You know what I mean? It's kind of, I don't know. I feel like we all don't drive them enough to be that confident zipping around.
I would agree. I see a lot of operators that probably shouldn't be operating them.
Yeah, I mean, I would say more than not.
Yeah.
Maybe 2's not a good idea. But in any case, obviously be safe out there. Follow your boater safety guidelines, all that good stuff. As far as like new versus used, I'm a big fan of buying something that's under warranty, personally.
Yeah, especially something like that.
I think people beat them, quite significantly. I can tell you, I have.
Hours, that's a big deal.
How many hours are on it? Yeah.
Maintenance,
No,
you got to get maintenance schedules and maintenance documents. But the used market is flooded. I mean, they're everywhere.
Yeah, a lot of them sold over COVID, so you might actually find a really good value that still has a warranty, low hours. Somebody that thought they were going to use it a ton that found out they aren't. Those would be good ones to try to scoop up. For a while there, they got really crazy high, over MSRP kind of stuff was going on. Now I think you can get decent deals out there. I think
so.
And one thing to consider, so obviously we're a dock company. A lot of you that watch this live on water of some kind, and you're going to need a way to dock this. You're not going to want to just let it, it's a little different. You're not going to want to just tie it up and leave it.
Big mistake.
They get beat up real fast. They're pretty low profile, and what'll happen at least with a stationary dock, is when a wave goes by, the nose of it'll dip down, and then it can catch under the frame of the dock, and it'll mar that gel coat real fast.
Yeah.
And that there's no way to polish that out. So I would recommend putting on some type of lift. Just so happens that we sell a PWC ramp for the shore line. Isn't that convenient?
Simple Shore.
Yeah. It's the most affordable option on the market, and I would argue the best.
Easiest to assemble.
Yeah.
Affordable.
So we were able to make it more affordable. You've probably seen other PWC ramps that, that have some type of center trunk or track system or something to shore dock them. But the reality is that those units have flaws in them that we've sort of fleshed out with our system. So our trunk is a hexagon, which allows us to have essentially straight axles through the entire frame. And it allows us to do it on a drill press instead of a lathe. And that doesn't, sound like a big deal, but it lowers the cost of production significantly. And so that's why we're able to offer the least expensive version on the market without compromising quality. So it's called our Simple Shore PWC ramp. You can obviously buy it on our website. You can buy it at Home Depot now, I think.
One click buy.
Lowe's maybe?
30 to 45 minutes for assembly. Fantastic product.
Where else can you buy it? Bed Bath & Beyond? Get you some soaps. Scented. That's where you get like the silicone cutting boards and stuff, good stuff. Anyway, we also have, so that's a system for the shore. We also have a PWC ramp that's coming out.
Port,
I guess. Okay, yeah, port. Thank you, Jason.
That's the French in me.
That's right. Yes, port. So our PWC port, thank you, Jason, is also modular. It'll be the first ever modular system that can be shipped LTL to the end users. So you can literally order it on our website or Home Depot or whatever. It shows up to your driveway. I'd say like 2 people. And
2 people.
A half hour.
Yep.
I mean, not much.
Assembly
maybe an hour.
Assembly right at shore. And
yeah. And
put it in the water.
There's a million ways that you can obviously. So it works natively with the Flex product that we have, the new floating modular dock. But we do have a design that's coming out for that and for our kayak launch that will allow you to use them with our stationary docks, which I'm pretty excited about. The solution looks really simple and robust.
Yeah, it'd be a really nice integration.
Yeah.
Very, very simple to install. Safe mechanism. Yeah, really nice.
Yeah, so that's coming out. The PWC is probably coming out Q1 next year.
Q1 2025.
Early 2025 before the season. Probably have some production, samples that we'll be testing in the fall, planning to release, early spring, late winter. So be on the lookout for that for sure. Anything you want to add, Jason? Anything about PWCs?
No, I just think we hit on all the important parts there. Now with those ports, obviously some of the other brands that are out there, it's quite a big installation procedure. Just even delivery, ordering them and getting them to your residence or to your lake home is takes a lot of planning. Many times you need heavy equipment to get them down to the shoreline, or you even launch them at a boat launch somewhere near where you're located. But with ours, it'll ship LTL. It'll drop via liftgate to your driveway. And from there, 2 people easily can carry the individual modules down to the waterfront. And like we said, installation, 30 minutes max to assemble it. And then we'll have integration to our fixed system. And then obviously it's considered an add-on / accessory to our Flex system. So great product. We're excited about it.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. One thing I want to touch on is those of you looking at, to circle back to, your PWC options, couple things you want to consider. Like for example, do you have a vehicle that can tow them if you're not on the water? Do you have an area you can store them? If you don't, can you identify that? These are things that are going to make the difference between actually using it and enjoying it and not. And I know that, like for myself, I didn't have storage figured out on my pontoon until right when I needed it. And, it would have been nice to have figured that out prior. So just a heads up that I'd recommend you, how you're going to tow it and how you're going to store it.
Yeah.
So, all right. Well, we appreciate you guys watching. As always, you can subscribe on our YouTube page, visit our website, TommyDocs.com. And as always, stay safe on the water. Thanks guys.
Everybody.